Hello, this is Palagi. Thank you for tuning into my channel, and today I'm going to do kind of a sharpening 101 here, okay? This is another viewer request, and based on the immediate negative feedback I had on the last video, probably won't be real popular, so if you're not into these sort of videos, that's okay, just don't watch them. But anyway, regardless of what you're doing and how you're sharpening your knives, there's constants that will always need to remain the same. Whether you're convexing your grind on sandpaper and a mouse pad, whether you're using whetstones, whatever. One of the most important things you have to remember is keeping a consistent angle. Okay. Now, anytime you do it by hand, that's there's going to be some variables there, obviously. This little jig here is going to keep things as consistent as it possibly can, but even though I'm using this, like I said, there will be things that'll remain the same. Now, for those who don't understand, the grits and how to work your way up. Now, I'm starting with the 220 grit. Okay, the knife I'm using, the steel is not that great. This is just a cheap kitchen knife that has been beat to heck here, but there is no edge on it whatsoever. So 220 for me is like a reprofiling. This is what I'd use for reprofiling or putting an initial edge on something. Okay, and then I will gradually advance up the grits until I'm satisfied with my edge. So the first thing I'm going to do here, like I showed on the other video, is I'm going to put a mark on the edge there to make sure that we are hitting it. Okay, so let's go ahead and check this out really quick. Okay. Okay, you can see there is a little bit of marker left up top, but that is actually above the grind there, so we are in good shape on that side. It can be different from side to side depending on how they're ground from the factory or how you ground it yourself. Just keep that in mind. So we are in good shape here. Okay, again, you'll still see some black on the edge, but that is above that initial grind. And I'm just matching the grind. Obviously, if I wanted to change the grinds up, that would be different. But we're just matching grinds here, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to get this stone wet here. Okay, so I'm going to start on this side here. I'm going to just give a few strokes. So what I'm doing now is I'm pushing material over to the other side, essentially. What I want to do is form what they call a burr, okay? And essentially what it is that edge, just a piece of metal, we want it to get just barely overhung on that other side, okay? Go ahead and see where we're at here. Okay, now I test this usually by running my fingernail on the other side. Usually there will be like a small lip. Okay, and we're not quite there yet, so I'm gonna keep going. And it's pretty important to, I'm not really counting, you probably should, but I know by the burr, that's what I go by. You should keep things symmetrical and count your strokes and do, an even number on each side, but Okay, so we are, yeah, our burr is starting to form now. Okay. Now, I'm just doing this really quick. If this was one of my nice knives, obviously I would pay more attention and slow down a little bit, but I can feel back here it's not quite where it needs to be yet. Okay? Yeah, I can feel that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch sides now. Now that we have the burr all the way across there, I am going to switch sides, and we're going to kind of straighten that out a little bit. So you can actually hear that. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay? There's a different sound to it, okay? And that's because that burr is on that side there. Alright, good. See, I can already feel we've got a pretty decent edge now. I've kind of flattened that burr out. Let's go ahead and feel if it's on either side. Okay, actually feels pretty much straightened out here. I've got a receipt here. I'll go ahead and see how we're doing. Okay. Okay. So there we go. It is cutting paper. And I'm just gonna give it a few strokes on both sides here. Just kind of even that burr out using not very much pressure at all. Go. Well, let's go ahead and see where we're at here. There we go. Okay. I don't know if I got that on camera or not, but it's very sharp. Okay. So now, there you go. You have your initial edge on the blade now, and now you just advance up the grits. You do the same thing. Okay. Now I have my 600 grit stone on. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go a little bit lighter now. The reprofiling is done. Okay. Now I'm just kind of smoothing that edge out. That's the whole point here. And it'll be the same, like I say, no matter how you sharpen. It's going to be the same sort of deal. When you kind of advance through the grits, you're just kind of polishing your existing edge there. That's all you're really doing. I'm not really removing material at this point. I'm just honing what's there. Go ahead and wipe this guy off. And give it okay. Very, very sharp. Now we will move on to 1000. Okay. Now the reason for a nice polished edge like this is, I don't know, there's, once again, just like anything sharpening related, there's different thought processes out there. Some people say that there is no advantage to, taking it above a certain grit or whatever. I disagree with that, honestly. The the more polished edges, you know, you hear people say that you can't slice tomatoes with it. That's not true, like not one bit. Okay, now that is a sharp knife. Okay, oops. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, that is super sharp. That's a push cutter. If I was a hairy guy, I could show you. I don't know if you can see that, but it shaves. So anyway, that's really it. That's just kind of the gist of it. I just wanted to show you really fast. I'm going to do that as quickly as I possibly could. There was not a whole lot of grace or poise there, but I just wanted to show you. Form a burr, straighten that burr out, and you know, check it. Make sure that it's not off to one side or the other. You want to keep that as straight as you possibly can. Now at the end, those light strokes I was taking, whether you know you're doing it on a stone, you're just going to get progressively lighter and lighter, and that will kind of naturally take your burr off. At the end of it, if you want to be sure, you can use something like a cork and just kind of cut through it. You can use wood, you can do all different kinds of things, even ceramic rods. Go at an angle greater than the angle you were sharpening at, and a couple really soft passes down it. Okay, that'll remove any burr that's left over. And the reason you want to do that is if you have what they call a wire edge on the end there, it can feel super sharp, but until you start getting into cutting, that whole edge will just kind of snap off like a wire. Okay, and then your blade is dull again. So you want to make sure that burr is properly treated and taken off there. So anyway, there's just a few tips there. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Anyway, if you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave your mark in the comment section. Till next time, this is Palagi signing off.